Alright guys, so here's our little video. We're going to talk about how to make a really simple, crazy simple puzzle game using nothing more than Kismet, the editor, and that's about it. No Unreal script, none of that hard stuff, just our nice easy little puzzle game. So we got our room here, 2 rooms and hallway, standard stuff. We've got a couple static meshes with some lights attached. These are going to be our puzzle pads. The object of our game is going to be to take 2 barrels, one red, one blue, and to place them on the red and blue pad. Very simple. As long as you're not colorblind, you should be ready to rock and roll. I've already pre-built a room. It's a very standard room. I used a kind of different method. Instead of using a hollow block for the rooms, I just did one big external block and then I cut out the rooms. This way you only have 4 BSP cuts instead of 3 compound cuts and then 2 cuts to cut out the doorways, and then you get all that nasty little junk around the edges of the doorway where the kind of cuts overlap. So this way it's very nice and clean and fast. Very good stuff here. Also got some fun lights in there. Lights are fun and all. So what we're going to do now is we need to, first of all, set up our game. So the player needs to be able to use a weapon. They're going to use the physics gun. So if we just go and play this right now, the player just kind of walks. That's because my file is named video map instead of DM or capture the flag or whatever. Well, there's a different way to do that. You don't actually have to use the DM dash or the CTF dash or etc, 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 etc. You can actually go up here to view, world properties, game type, and you have 2 options. You have a game type, a default game type, and a game type for Pi. Pi is play in editor. So we're going to change both to let's try UT game. Or actually, let's change it. UT deathmatch. That should give us just the basic stuff off of the bat. So if I'm going to rerun that, I should have a, what do you know, weapon. Guns are cool, right? That's all the cool kids are doing nowadays. But we don't want the player to have this gun. We want the player to have the physics gun. So first of all, we need to get rid of that gun. So if we go up into view, world properties, and world info, we can turn on no default inventory for player. This keeps the player from having anything off the bat. So now we're just, it still shows the icon down in the bottom right. That's because the scale form interface, it doesn't know how to handle no weapon because it's an Unreal game. You're always going to have a weapon. Why wouldn't you have a weapon? That's a stupid idea. So what we're going to do is we're going to give you the physics gun. Now there's a few ways to do this. You could try to hack it back in as a weapon file. It's still there though, it's just disabled. So the easiest way is to open up Kismet. Now I've got a second monitor here that's full of ponies, so I'm gonna just record this one monitor. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna create an event, player spawned. I forgot English for a second there. And then on player spawning, we're going to do action miscellaneous console command. So we're going to link those up, and we can go on the instigator right here for the player spawn is what player just spawned. So this way it only affects the players that respawn. So if this is a multiplayer game, instead of this happening every single time every player spawned, it would be just a specific player. So we're going to right click on that little triangle, create new object variable, and then link that into console command. This way only the player that just spawned gets this command. It saves a lot of network traffic. So under commands, it's already got one that's blank. We're just going to type physics gun, enter, and that should take care of that. So if we go back into the game here, I should have I got a physics gun. Yeah, physics gun's pretty awesome. You don't really have a physics gun. It's just a pair of crosshairs. If I go into behind view, you can see the player's just kind of got his hands out because why not? So anyway, back into here. So now we've got that taken care of. We need to give the player something to carry. So I like to use barrels. Why? Because barrels are fun. So we're gonna go in here. We're gonna go all assets, static meshes. And I can't be bothered to look up the name for it. I'm just going to scroll down. There it is, Remade Fizz Barrel. We're going to drag a couple of these in. Now these are static meshes. You can see here they're kind of teal color. So we want these to be K actors. So we're going to right click and we're going to go to Convert K actor. I'm going to do this for the other one, and I'm too lazy. I'm just going to copy me one over. Look at that. Okay, so with these two in here, I should be able to go back in here. You know, it's going to say light and easy rebut, you know, whatever. You know, there's my barrel, you know, barrel of fun. Look at that. Riding on cars. So we're going to go back out of here. We're going to rebuild the lighting here real fast. So dual graphics card will kick in here. And we're done. SLI for the win. Cool. So let's clean this up a little bit. I shouldn't have built the lighting, but you know, whatever. So we're going to put these in opposite corners here. Now, we need to differentiate which barrel goes where. So, right now the player can just sit here and try to put the barrels on the pads, kind of, you know, trial and error. Trial and error is not fun. So we want to give some light. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a movable point light. So if you bring up your content browser, go to Actor Classes, go to Lights, Point Lights, and a Point Light Movable. We're going to add one of those right there. So the point light movable is just a normal light that has some extra code on the back end that allows it to move. Not much else, but does allow it to move. Now we're going to place this just above here, so I'm going to demonstrate something else. So let's go ahead and copy us one of these for the second light. So let's go ahead and make this one blue. So if we open up its properties with F4, light component again, we'll change that to blue. And let's scale you back just a little bit there, big guy. You're a little bit on the bright side. There we go. And what we're going to do is we're going to copy him over here as well for the other one, because I can't be bothered to size him down either. And we're going to go back and change him to red. Nice, pretty red. Pretty birdie. Okay, cool. So there's that. Now, if I go back in here, I have to rebuild the lighting again. Come on. Thank you. Okay. Now, we go back in here, and I pick up a barrel. The light doesn't move with it. Now, you can keep it like that, so the player will have to remember which barrel he get from where. But if I take both barrels, throw them down a hallway, spin around a few times, I don't know which one went from where. So that's no fun. So we need to attach these lights to each other. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select our light right there. I'm going to go into Kismet again. So this is the blue light. So I'm going to go down here. I'm going to make me a new comment wrap. I'm going to call him blue. And in here we're going to add a new object variable using point light. So we know this is the blue point light. And I'm going to select our blue barrel and do the same thing. The object variable. So now this is our blue barrel. So what we need to do is we need to link these two together. So we need to new event level loaded. We're going to kind of keep this in the middle here. We're going to use it again later. We need to do a new action actor. First of all, we need to teleport. That way we can move the light to be directly on top of the barrel, or it's going to line the two objects up along their widget right here, which is fine. We don't need it to be perfectly in the center, but if you wanted to, you could change the location of the widget pretty easily. So our target is going to be the light, our destination is going to be the barrel. We're going to do this on level loaded and visible. Now that's just going to move them together, but they won't keep moving. So we need to do action actor attach to actor. So target is going to be the light. There's the barrel. Attachment is going to be the light. So with all that linked up, if I go back in here, see now instead of being up high like this, it's down low. Pick this up. Oh my god, it moves with it. Cool. So now if I skip down here, because I'm a jolly fellow, I can go hey, you know, you win. So we're going to do the same thing over here real fast. So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to do this on my other monitor because I can't be bothered to drag it over. New comment. Wrap. Red. And we're going to add the light. And we're going to add the barrel. And I'm going to go and copy the code down here. Yeah. Yep. Okay, just walk over it again. On level loaded invisible, we're going to attach the light to the barrel, and then we're going to attach, we're going to teleport and then attach them. So with that fixed up, we go back in here, and they now move with the object. So that's fine and dandy and cool and all. Now, our next step is to, we are going to need to make it sense when the barrels are there. Now, the old school method of this is using a note to constantly check distance. That takes a lot of processing power. So we're going to use triggers. Now, triggers do not detect K-actors off the bat ever. They had to be forced into it. So if we out of the way, if we go and just add a trigger here, add actor trigger, and we center him up on our pad right here, you know, get him right there on it, and we copy him over to the autosave. There you go. Copy him over there. Yeah, I'm just gonna go and save right now because I can hear the fans kicking on high because I'm recording this and doing this, and I got some other stuff in the background as well. So just in case something goes wrong. So with our two triggers set up, what we can do is actually I'm going to delete the second one because we need to get this first one set up for. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. We're going to go in here. We're going to bring back up Kismet. So for our red trigger, we're going to put him right there, and we're going to add. Let's go and make our box a bit bigger. So we're going to use new event using trigger 1 touched. Okay. Now, what we're going to do here is we need to do the kind of default stuff. We need to make sure that this can happen more than once. So you change max trigger count to 0, standard run-of-the-mill stuff. Now up here under touch types, this is where you can tell it what can and cannot interact with. Now we don't want to make the player do it. So we're going to change pawn to K actor, and that should make it fine and dandy. That way only a K actor can touch that. So same thing over here. We're going to bring him into blue. Make our brew box a little bit bigger, just a little bit, and we're going to go ahead and add new event touch, and go in here, change pawn to K actor, kinetic Kismet actor, and under sequence event, change trigger count to 0, and yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this real fast. And I'm going to split the video file because I'm running out of RAM, and I will be right back. Okay, and we're back. Okay, so where we left off, we've got our two pads right here, red and blue. We got two barrels, red and blue, and when you make our barrels able to sense them when they're on the pad. Now, one thing we can do is use trigger, which we've got set up over here in our Kismet window. We've got two triggers. Now, as we talked about before, we need to change under class proximity types. We need to change it from pawn, which is its normal setting, to K actor. This way, it can sense K actors. Now, down here under sequence event, we need to uncheck player only. If it's player only, no matter what you set the top to, it doesn't matter. It only collide with the player. So we need to make sure that's unchecked. For both of these guys. That way our barrels can collide. Now with character objects, they have something called encroachment. If encroachment is turned off, it keeps them from entering volume. So it's made to kind of cut down the processor cycles. You get a lot of these guys, colliding together. We don't have a lot of these guys. So if you select our barrels and go in F4 to go to the settings, we need to uncheck. So we have a variable called no encroach check, and it's yes. We need to uncheck that on both of these barrels here. That way we don't accidentally end up not doing anything at all. So with that set up, what we're going to do is just for right now we're going to get the actual sensing mechanism hooked up. So if we go back in here and look at our Kismet, we've got our two triggers set up properly. So what we need to do is we need to dump an instigator from each of these. So create new object variable, create an object variable. This way we can know who's triggering me. Now we need to do a comparison. So condition, comparison, compare object. So object A is going to be what's on the trigger, and object B is what should be on the trigger. So untouched, compare. You're going to do the same thing down here. New condition, comparison, compare objects. Untouch. A is what's on the trigger. B is what should be on the trigger. This way it will build sense. So next we need to do is we need to build a latch, if you will. So we need to. So when both of these are emptying out as they both equal, that way it'll allow us to play our ending cinematic. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a condition comparison bool, and we need to do 2 of these in row. So on the chance that they're both true, it'll reset. So we need to. This is called a simple loop. So on level load invisible, we're going to start comparing. If it's false, loop back. So at any time, if any of these, as long as they're both true, it'll pass through to the last true. But if they're any of these 2 are false, it'll keep looping. But we don't want to do it just like this. This will overload our poor little computer. So we're going to set an activate delay of 1/10 of a second. So at most, the player might experience 2/10 of a second of delay, which is not that much. So this will keep looping over and over again. So what we need to do is we need 2 boolean variables, and they're both going to be false off the bat, which is how we want them. And we need to have a toggle. So new action toggle. We're going to hook the boolean up to these right here. Action toggle. And we need to have, just for SGs, if A does not equal B, to turn off. And let's go and set up untouched as well. That way whenever it leaves, we can keep sensing. And we're going to set the output of these to, I'll leave it like that, that'll be fine, because this is still looping. So now, as long as they're both on the pad, it should trigger something, just for us. So our next deal is going to be to animate a camera. So what we need to do is we need to open up our actor classes and go up here, search camera actor. We're going to add a camera actor right here. Now for me to accept a camera actor, you can sit here all day and you can poke and prod with it, try to get set up. What I have to do is, like with the object selector, is this little eyeball here. If you click that, it'll move your object to wherever your camera was, your actual viewport was. So this is really good for getting that perfect view. So then we got that set up. Very nice, very nice, very nice. So with that set up, we're going to go back into our Kismet here, and we're going to go make a new matinee, and we're going to set up the last true to play. And I'm going to get these guys. I'm going to slide off the screen just a little bit with the camera selected. Back into the matinee right here, and new camera group, cam1. Okay, and we're going to kind of close off Kismet there in the background. So we're going to go and actually I'm going to pause the video real fast. I want to enable dual monitor view so we can see the whole action. So be right back. Okay, so we've got our dual view up now. Nice. So with our camera group here in Kismet, we've got a one called Cam1. We've got 2 tracks, movement and FOV angle. We want this to be a really short animation, so we're going to leave it at 5 seconds. So what we want to do is, you can see it right here. Probably can't see it that well. There is a little camera icon. If you click that, whatever your active view is will become the camera view. So we want over the 5 seconds our camera to fly from one another. So we're going to scroll alt out to 5. We're going to hit enter on the movement track. It didn't have that track selected, which is why I got an error. What we're going to do is we're going to move our camera through here and kind of fix it a little bit. I want to have it kind of tilt up just a smidgen, because why not? Looks cool. So let's turn on real-time update there, and we're gonna. Looks good. Looks good. Cool. Now we want this to be shown to the player, so we need to add a new group called director. And on the director group, at the very beginning of it, so the director is exactly what it sounds like. It is a director. It tells the game what to show you. So if there's nothing in the director channel, it'll show you just the player. So by default, there's no director, so it's just what the player sees. This can take control away from the player. So if we select a director channel, go down to 0 seconds, hit enter, and then pick our camera and leave it like that. This way, whenever it plays, it should remove control from the player. So we're going to close out all of that, get back into our Kismet here, make sure all of our wiring is nice and proper, which it looks like it is. So we're going to go in and try this real fast. I got the blue barrel. Use my scroll wheel to scroll that bad boy out so I don't have to run as far. So there's Schwan. Stay. Good enough. Okay, and we're going to grab Mr. Second Barrel here. Oh, there we go, and look at that. Now the problem is my player dude can still move. So we need to engage cinematic mode. And they've moved this around since the last time I used it. So it's under Action Toggle Cinematic Mode. We're going to target the player that has that's active right now, but we kind of want to make everybody free. So we're going to go to New Variable, Player, All Players. So that way it does that. So we're going to, by default, on level loaded, disable that. That way we don't accidentally start off with it on. And on the final true, enable that mode. So what this does is it rips control from the player. So it disables all your keyboard inputs and whatnot. So if we do this again. Oh, look at that. And as you can see, whenever you toggle cinematic mode, it actually removes the player, the pawn. The pawn is a physical representation of the player in the world. It removes him from the world, and that way you can't, that way you don't see him. So we're gonna go up in matinee. We're gonna put on completed disable. That way it's a little easier for us. So yeah, we've basically made a simple little game. You match up the barrels to the color, and you match it on the pads, and it creates a fly through. Pause this player control. So for one more time, we'll play through here. Let's do red first. Just skip there. They call me Skips. My name used to be Walks, but I said no. It's just a man trying to keep me down. I'll grab Mr. Blue one right here. I'll put him on the blue pad. And then, Look at that. Yeah, cool. So, yeah. Awesome. Thanks for watching.